From chilling masterminds to elusive predators, history's most infamous serial killers left behind stories of terror that still haunt us today. In this video, we'll look at their crimes and final resting places that mark the end of their dark paths. Samuel Little, America's most prolific serial killer. Samuel Little confessed to murdering 93 women across the U.S. between 1970 and 2005, often targeting vulnerable women. Many deaths were misruled as overdoses or accidents, but the FBI later confirmed over 60 of his confessions, making him the deadliest serial killer in U.S. history. He died of natural causes in 2020 while serving life in California. Little was cremated, with no public grave. Harold Shipman, Dr. Death. Harold Shipman, a British doctor, is believed to have murdered around 250 patients, mostly elderly women, by lethal injection between 1975 and 1985-1998. His crimes remain among the most shocking betrayals of medical trust in modern history. In January 2004, Shipman hanged himself in his prison cell. He was cremated, and his ashes were scattered at a secret location. Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer. Gary Ridgway, known as the Green River Killer, murdered at least 49 young women in Washington state during the 1980s and 1990s, many of them sex workers. He strangled his victims and left their bodies in wooded areas, earning his infamous name. Unlike many serial killers, Ridgway is still alive, serving a life sentence without parole. John Wayne Gacy, the Killer. Clown. John Wayne Gacy, infamously known as the Killer Clown, murdered 33 young men and boys between 1972 and 1978. He buried 26 of his victims beneath his Chicago area home, while publicly performing as Pogo the Clown. Gacy was executed by lethal injection in 1994. He was cremated, and his ashes were scattered in a secret location. Ted Bundy, the Charismatic Killer. Ted Bundy murdered at least 30 young women across 7 states during the 1970s. Known for his charm and intelligence, he used deception to lure victims before attacking them. His trials drew massive media attention, making him a symbol of predatory violence. Bundy was executed in 1989 by electric chair, then cremated, with ashes scattered in Washington. Dennis Rader, BTK Killer. Dennis Rader, known as BTK for bind, torture, kill, murdered 10 people in Kansas between 1974 and 1991. He terrorized the community by sending taunting letters to police and the media, detailing his crimes. After decades of evasion, he was caught through digital forensics. Rader is still alive today, serving a life sentence without parole. Jeffrey Dahmer, the Milwaukee Cannibal. Jeffrey Dahmer murdered and dismembered 17 men and boys between 1978 and 1991, committing acts of necrophilia and cannibalism. His crimes shocked the world and exposed major police failures after one escaped victim was ignored. In 1994, Dahmer was beaten to death by another inmate in prison. He was cremated, and his ashes were returned to his family. H. Holmes, the Devil in the White City. H. Holmes, one of America's first known serial killers, built a murder castle in Chicago with hidden rooms, gas chambers, and a crematorium. During the 1893 World's Fair, he confessed to 27 murders, though many believe the true number was higher. Holmes was executed by hanging in 1896 and buried in a concrete-filled coffin in Pennsylvania. Fred and Rose West, the House of Horrors. Fred and Rose West tortured, raped, and murdered at least 12 young women, including their own daughter, over 2 decades in their Gloucester House of Horrors. Their crimes exposed years of hidden abuse within a single family home. In 1995, Fred hanged himself in prison before trial, while Rose remains alive, serving a life sentence. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. Richard Ramirez, infamously known as the Night Stalker, terrorized California in 1984 and 1985 with a chilling spree of home invasion murders, rapes, and burglaries. His use of satanic imagery and random acts of violence spread widespread fear across the state. In 2013, Ramirez died of cancer while on death row. He was cremated, and his ashes were quietly scattered in California. Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper. Peter Sutcliffe, known as the Yorkshire Ripper, murdered 13 women and attacked several others in northern England between 1975 and 1980. Claiming he was on a mission from God to kill sex workers, his crimes spread fear across the country. A massive police investigation was later criticized for major mistakes that let him kill for years. Sutcliffe died of COVID-19 in 2020. He was cremated, his ashes scattered in private. Aileen Wuornos, America's female serial killer. Aileen Wuornos murdered 7 men in Florida between 1989 and 1990, claiming each killing was self-defense against sexual assault while working as a sex worker. Her troubled life, abusive past, and violent crimes made her one of the most infamous female serial killers in history. In 2002, Wuornos was executed by lethal injection. She was cremated, and her ashes were scattered in her native Michigan. Wayne Williams, the Atlanta child murders. Wayne Williams was convicted of killing 2 adult men in Atlanta, Georgia, but is believed to be responsible for at least 23 of the infamous Atlanta child murders between 1979 and 1981. The case sparked fear nationwide and remains deeply controversial, with many arguing the murders were too varied to be the work of one man. Williams is still alive today, serving a life sentence in prison. Michael Swango, Doctor of Death. Michael Swango, a physician-turned-serial killer, is believed to have poisoned as many as 60 patients and colleagues in the United States and Zimbabwe between 1983 and 1997. Exploiting his position of authority as a doctor, he used his medical knowledge to administer lethal doses without suspicion for nearly 2 decades. His ability to move between hospitals while hiding his past allowed him to continue killing. Swango is still alive, serving a life sentence without parole. David Berkowitz, son of Sam. David Berkowitz, known as the Son of Sam, terrorized New York City in 1976 and 1977, shooting 6 people to death and wounding 7 others. He claimed he was driven to kill by a neighbor's demonic dog, a bizarre confession that only fueled public panic. His crimes created a summer of fear that dominated headlines and forced major changes in police procedures. Berkowitz was captured in 1977 and remains alive today, serving a life sentence in prison. Beverly Allitt, the Angel of Death. Beverly Allitt, a pediatric nurse in the UK, earned the grim nickname the Angel of Death after murdering 4 children, attempting to kill 3 more, and seriously harming 6 others in 1991. She injected her young patients with insulin and other drugs, exploiting her position of medical trust. Her crimes shocked Britain and raised urgent questions about hospital safeguards. Allitt was convicted and remains alive today, serving a life sentence in prison with no possibility of release. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. See you in the next one.